Good morning. How is everyone doing? Dr. Kitty Oliver. In chapter 4 of our book study, the 4-8 Principle, Tommy Newberry, the author, challenges us. He challenges each of us to imagine, to play this game, if you will. To imagine that we've got a microphone hanging around our neck. And that this microphone records every word we speak throughout the day. And just imagine if there was a microphone. I'm too hot in the monitors. Can you imagine if there was a microphone and it played everything you said yesterday or everything you said this afternoon on YouTube tomorrow? Imagine if your very words were recorded and you heard you saying them on somebody's Facebook post tomorrow. Listen to what I heard Frank say yesterday. And actually, I was thinking I do that. There's a microphone hanging on my neck. And then by Tuesday, the words that I speak are on YouTube. But the question is for us to live our life recognizing, would this be a good thing? Would it be a good thing for us to hear our own words today that we spoke yesterday? Would our words reflect, when we're clapping and singing with the Spirit with Dr. Oliver? Or would they reflect another side of ourselves? Would our speech more likely be focused on problems of the present? Or would the words we speak demonstrate the hope we have for the future? Would they be faith-based words? What we teach here every Sunday, and we clap, and we celebrate, and we worship, and we pray, or would they be fear-based words? Ultimately, would the words that we speak, if recorded and played back to us a day later, would they emphasize the blessings that we have in our life? Or would we be talking about worries and our insecurities and not enoughness and lack and limitation? I tell you, this week we had a wonderful week at our Resolutions Conference. Let's, really, for all the people who are there. Our own Scott walked away with a brand new 32 gigabyte iPad. After the first winner wasn't here to win it. Yeah, somebody won it, but wasn't here. And so, God had a plan, and that plan was Scott. So congratulations to everyone who came, and everyone who served, and everyone who participated in a beautiful, beautiful conference. And all of those 4 services, last Sunday, Monday night, Reverend Tita Calzada gave a powerful message about spirituality and goal setting. Tuesday night, I actually just sat down in a chair and gave a 1-hour talk, about spiritual gifts. And then Thursday night, we had a beautiful white stone service, and all of them are on our YouTube channel. And although, we may not actually have this microphone hanging around our neck, I tell you, every word we speak is being recorded. Every word we speak is recorded by our subconscious mind. And they will be played back to us. And if we're speaking fear-based, insecure, not enoughness words, they will be spoken back to us by ourselves. And they'll be spoken back when we have a decision to make, or we have an obstacle to break through, or we have a challenge or an opportunity that shows up. Those words we spoke about who we are spoken back to us silently, yet ever so powerfully. And so I ask you today, do you know who you are? I Know Who I Am was the song we opened up with. And so today is the day where everyone here is going to consciously choose whether we are going to be a positive person and live by the 4-8 principle, which states as if there's anything of excellence or praiseworthy, I will meditate on these things. We're going to decide if we're going to be a positive person in 2012 or if we are going to be negative. This week we had, in the past 3 or 4 weeks, we had Reverend Tita Calsala, Reverend James Trapp, Reverend Edwin Gaines. And they all had a common theme, and the common theme was appreciation and be positive and focus on the good and celebrate our blessings over and over and over again. I watched all the messages and I could just hear the common thread that ran through. Now, none of us got together and planned this. This is what Spirit is speaking to this church today. And so we should all be pros at whatever decision we're going to make. Every speaker in one way or another said that life is better when we have a positive attitude about life. And so today I thought I would change it up a little. Thought I would change it up a little. Being that I spoke last Sunday, I spoke Tuesday, I spoke Thursday. I'm going to change it up today, and today I'm going to teach how to be miserable. I'm going to teach everyone in this church how to be miserable because we are a church about excellence. And so if we're going to make a decision to be negative, I want us to be the most negative, excellent, foundationed people out there. There's a great article that was sent to me yesterday written by Michael Lee. And he shares about the destructive habits of negative people. And so I'm warning. I wish I could floor warning. If anyone wants to have a pessimistic and miserable life, this message is for you. Engage in these habits, and I promise you will be burning, reams and reams of paper in the burning bowl on December 31st, 2012. You'll need a bonfire outside because you'll attract so much misery this year, you won't know what to do with it. And so what we do, Jesus the Christ was a ministry, but ultimately his ministry was about being conscious. Walking through life awake and conscious, asking, believing, and receiving. And so the first thing, if you want a miserable life, the first thing is everything you think, say, and do should be negative. In other words, you should wake up and look for problems. You should see problems everywhere. You should complain about everything. You should see only problems and never look for a solution. And then if you really want to get an A+ here, what we can do is, even when little challenges show up in our life, exaggerate them into a major tragedy. You know what I mean? Like something, like a flat tire or something that's just a part of owning a car or a little this or that. A little something shows up. Make sure it's on Facebook like it is the biggest tragedy in the world. Make sure you're on the phone blowing the whole thing out of proportion, and make sure even when the situation is healed, you're still complaining about it. All right? And then what we do is we learn when we do this and we practice and we get really good at it. What we do is we get to learn to treat every failure as a catastrophe. All right? In other words, rather than looking at an opportunity and saying, where can I change or where can I adjust my life, we just make every time there's a mess up in our life a huge catastrophe. And then we know that in the Gospel of Matthew it says, it's not what goes into your mouth that defiles you. You are defiled by the words that come out of your mouth. And so really, in unity, we are about being conscious. Remember, my first talk was about wake. Last week, it was about awake. Resolutions 2012, awake. And so I want you to, if you want a defiled life, I am giving you the plan. Take notes. You're not taking notes here. All right? I want us to consciously and be awake about really attracting negativity and pessimism and not enoughness into your life, I'm giving you the prescription. And in this way, when there is a mistake in life and there is something that shows up that we don't expect or we don't like, we learn to become really discouraged. And when we do that this way, it not only the flat tire not only ruins, whatever the trip, if I was going to school or going to work or going to meet somebody, when I get there, I'm just a miserable person over it. And everybody I'm with, has to suffer with me in my misery. I don't even get over it. And in this way, I learned to discourage future situations. And the good thing about this is we never move forward because we're always afraid things won't work out. Because our words that we speak are recorded in our subconscious mind. And so then the next time I go to try something, all those negative words I spoke will come to really metaphorically haunt me and only me. And I'll say, no, I can't try that because I know it won't work out. And so the first thing is really be negative and be good at it and be well at it and be consistent at it, all right? And the second thing is to give up easily and quit all the time, all right? Really, successful people, we know those successful people, man, they treat any failure as a stepping stone to success. But this isn't a talk about success. This is a talk about misery. And so negative people, they call it quits at the first sign of disappointment. At the first sign something doesn't work out, it's time to quit. At the first sign of an obstacle or an unexpected, situation, it's time to quit. And what you can see is that there's a pattern here, because what negative people do is they always start endeavors with a lot of excitement. Start resolutions. I'm going to do this. Start a business. Start a relationship. But the excitement is based on unreasonable expectations. So I'm going to start a relationship, and the unreasonable expectation I have is we're never going to have a conflict, and the person is just going to behave exactly like the person I see them as in my mind. There'll be no individuality in this relationship. I just want them to be a projection of the person I'm creating in my mind. But I don't really realize that they were not part of the conversation in my mind. So I expect them to be a mind reader. Right? I don't communicate, these are my needs. No. I just expect them to have some, golden crystal ball and just read my thoughts and know what I'm thinking and behave accordingly. But then what happens is, obviously, that doesn't happen in a relationship. That doesn't happen when we haven't communicated our needs to the world. And so what happens is we give up easily. It's far easier to quit than communicate. It's far easier, to lose interest anytime we encounter these miscalculations. And then what happens with negative people is they're really good at starting a new one. They start and they go and they search all God's creation for a new project, a new business, a new talent, a new goal, a new resolution, a new relationship. But then what they do is it's the same story and the same result, the same story and the same result, the same story and the same result. You see, when people are hopeless, and remember, we're about being awake, so when people walk around and they want to attract hopelessness, they don't have persistence. They don't go on to fulfill their dreams. And then they save up. Instead of writing books about joy and wonderful blessings and what we can appreciate, they have these metaphorical books in their mind about every time something didn't work out in my life. Every time. And because responsibility and misery really don't go together, they have an excuse ready. And so the next thing you have to do is always carry a list of all the excuses with you of why your life doesn't work out. So that's your homework tonight. I want you all to go home and come up with the top 5 things, the top 5 reasons, the top 5 people, places, or things of why your life isn't going to work out in 2012. This way, you already have that. We could just burn that on December 31st. at the burning bowl. You'll have the excuses already. You won't even have to think about them, all right? And then the third thing that people do, the people that want to attract, sadness and not enoughness, is it's really important to bring everybody down all the time. Okay? You really, practice in the mirror in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, look into the mirror and, practice those mean faces and don't smile and don't bring joy. And look at the difference between this and this. Really, just practice. See how low you can get your shoulders to drag, and be like, I know you have a job, and I know it's not the best job and everything, but when you walk into your job, let them, like before you even open your mouth, be like, good morning, everyone. All right? Because then you get really good at this with practice. Work in the mirror in the morning, all right? And negative people are really good at bringing down energy. And they really look and they see successful people and they look at them and they envy them. It's something like it's something they don't have, like something they were cheated out of. That's one of the excuses. There you go. I gave you one of them already. That I was cheated out of my blessing by, and then you just fill in the blank. All right? And instead of working really hard and realizing every successful woman and every successful man has a long list of stepping stones, a long list of things they triumphed over, but all the triumph is in their mind. And so instead of doing that, it's so much easier to just bring people down. And the fourth thing now is always take the easy way out. All right, this is a good one. Always take the easy way out. If there are two roads to choose from, you have to make a decision, and there's two roads to choose from, all right? Choose the wider road that the mob is going down. Okay, don't choose the road less traveled. Don't choose the narrow road. Don't choose the difficult road. Don't choose the road where there's learning and growth and opportunity and all the great things that God has for us. No, we know the Gospel of Luke. It says, make every effort to enter through the narrow door, because many, I tell you, will try and enter and not be able to. And what Jesus was saying is, obviously, many people go through the mob, go with the flow, rather than make an individual decision that just may, go against the flow. And in this way, when you're with the mob of everybody, it's another way that a negative person doesn't have to take responsibility for their situation. Oh, well, I just followed them. If something doesn't work out, you don't have to take responsibility. That I created this with my thinking. I created this with my mind. I created this with decisions I made way back then. Back then, I sowed some negative thinking, and now I'm reaping what I sowed today. No. When you go with the flow, when you go with the mob, when you take the wide road, there is no responsibility. You could just blame all the people that you followed, and then cause and effect, it will never go unnoticed in your life. You'll always be able to say the cause of my life is the mob, and the effect is woe is me. Woe is me. And I know successful people. I know that they're successful because they went through trials and error and stood up. I know what David said, yea, that I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. I know all that, but I'm not willing to walk that path. I want to go through the wide door. I want the easy way out. I don't want stretching. I don't want growth. I don't want discomfort. I don't want challenges. And the final thing, the fifth thing you have to do, and this is really good, because you can just do this everywhere with everyone. You can even do this to yourself when you're alone, is be really ungrateful all the time. Never be thankful about anything. If we really seek to create an unhappy life, think about everything that's bad in every situation. Really focus on the bad. Focus on what we don't have. Focus on what didn't work out. Never let go. Go back to kindergarten. Go back to kindergarten and figure out why what they said to me in kindergarten is still ruining my life today at 48 years old. I mean, really, and I'm going to give you some affirmations. We hate our job. Okay, we hate our job. I know people are looking for work, but I have a job and I hate mine. And really, be ungrateful about having a job, all right? We're dissatisfied with the way we look. This way, every time you look in the mirror, you could just be like, I hate myself. I'm tired of my friends. I complain about my church. I'm sick of where I live. And in short, you could just sort of just think everywhere and everywhere you go, look for the reason to be ungrateful. Now, obviously, this is a joke today, but I hope I made a point. I hope you hear, this point if something slips out. Because the goal of this year, our year of appreciation, the goal of this book study, the 4-8 principle, the goal of our resolutions week, in fact, the goal of everything to do is to remind us of the truth of who we are. I'm not saying that we can instantly get a happy, problem-free life just by, 20 minutes of changing our thinking, but I am saying we can improve things. I'm saying that if we just accept one simple and basic truth, it can turn our whole life around, and that is God is my source. God is my source, and there's a better way. I will think, do, and say positive things. I will not quit with my resolutions, no matter how many times I have to restart them. I will seek ways and people to bring other people up all the time. I will choose the road less traveled. I will choose to walk through my fears. And finally, I will declare that this is my year of appreciation. See, knowledge of what we teach on Sunday is not enough. It's like the trailer you watch to the movie. That's not enough. You want to see the whole movie? The movie starts when you walk out those doors, and it continues for the rest of the week. We must walk a positive talk when stuff shows up. That's why the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, the man we celebrate his birthday this weekend, said the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenge and controversy. Our spirituality will not show up in moments of comfort and convenience. We don't need it because it's all good. Our true spirituality, the truth of what we believe about ourselves, our God, our faith, and our ability to change is going to show up in times of challenge and controversy. Jesus was born Jewish when Rome occupied Jerusalem. Gandhi was born in India when Great Britain occupied his country. Dr. King was born in Atlanta, Georgia, when segregation and apartheid was the law in this country. And yet each and every one of them was born with a calling on their life. And their calling was to make a resolution for change. No matter how hard it was, no matter how many marches I had to take part in, no matter how many people opposed me, they could spit on me, they can kick me, they could throw me, they can knock me down. Each one of them had a call in their life that said, get up and keep walking. Somewhere in all of us, there is an idea that we can change. And I want to conclude today our Resolutions Week with a call to action. Very simply, the call on today is unity. The call is for unity of mind and heart, individually and as a group, as a church. Unity is needed in politics, in human relations, in religion, in business, in international affairs, in finances. The thought of unity and oneness will transform every one of our lives. Once we bring our mind and our heart together, there is no thing impossible to God, but we co-create. And it is unifying our mind and our heart. What does unity mean? It means harmony. It means agreement. And so, let us just agree with our resolutions and be willing. Let us agree with our challenges and be willing. Let us agree with our faith and our courage and our life and be willing. Be willing to step into the unknown. Be willing to think and say positive things. Be willing to say, I will not quit this resolution. Be willing to bring other people up and be willing to choose the road less traveled. And finally, simply, I can give you one thing that will transform this whole year and the rest of your life, and that's start to learn to appreciate everything and everybody. Let 2012 be our year of overflowing appreciation. And so it is, and it shall be. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you, everyone.
Hey, hi.